This week on Engage the Sage.
Hi, I'm Don Saucier. Welcome to this week's episode of Engage the Sage. This week, we're going to be talking about how you can continue to keep teaching during a campus emergency. As you are likely very aware, we have a coronavirus outbreak in this country and all over the world, and educational institutions are tasked with trying to figure out how is it that we can keep teaching when things are going to be very different. The biggest difference that many of us are facing, or will be facing soon, is that a lot of our learning and a lot of our teaching is going to have to happen remotely. Having our students come to class is going to be something that may be suspended for the next weeks or months at our institutions. That's scary. I've never taught an online class. I don't know how to teach an online class, but I imagine that I and many of you are going to become much more fluent in some of the tools and techniques that we have for delivering information online in a couple of weeks than maybe you are right now. The first thing I'm going to suggest is that we take a breath and we understand that we are going to do fine. Good teachers find a way to get things done. And what we can do is we can use our creativity, we can use our empathy for the student experience, and we can get through this. So while things may be different, it doesn't mean that all is lost. We have 5 recommendations of things that we'd like you to keep in mind to help you get through this and to keep teaching. First recommendation I have for us to keep teaching is that understanding that that difference is going to occur, truly internalize that. Understand that the class you plan to teach, as a face-to-face class in particular, is not going to be the class you end up teaching. Think about what the biggest priorities are in that class. Think about the biggest skills, the biggest content that your students have to learn in this semester, because that's where your focus is going to be. The other stuff that might be less completely relevant, the other stuff that might be a little bit more supplementary, that stuff may fall aside this semester. The way that you interact with your students is going to be different. The way that you might have them complete assignments and demonstrate their learning might be different. Understand this. What we're doing is teaching during an emergency. Changes have to be made, and if we try too hard to hold on to what our initial plans were, it could put us into a state that makes us less effective. And if we're less effective, our students don't learn well, and that makes everybody unhappy. The second recommendation that I make, and by the way, I'm pulling these recommendations from a lot of reading and thinking that I've done. I haven't come up with all of these on my own. But the second recommendation that I would make is understand if you have not been an online teacher before, you're still not going to be a wonderful online teacher. You're not going to be using all of the best practices in online teaching with a couple of weeks of preparation. Understand that you're going to manage this experience. You're probably not going to optimize it. So use tools you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with email, that's great. If you're comfortable with Zoom or Skype, even better. If you have good fluency in an online course management system like Canvas, that's awesome. But you're probably not going to develop true fluency in a new skill set with a couple of weeks of notice at best. And I highly recommend you do some reading and you connect with people in your academic communities and possibly on your campus. Maybe you have instructional designers like we do who can help you do some easy things to move your class to something more remote. The third recommendation that I'm going to make, and by the way, these are not set in an order. This one is really important. The third recommendation that we make is be kind to your students. This is scary for us. This is also scary for them. This is different from us. This is also different for them. One of the things I think we have to be very attentive of in case of disruption of face-to-face teaching is some of our students may actually be displaced from their living situations. They may not be allowed to live in the dorms as they would be. And my mom and sister are probably watching this, so I won't give too many details. But if I had to do college from home, it would have been a lot harder for me to do college than from my dorm. Understand that their living situations may be different, their access to technology may be different, their ability to concentrate on work while they're worried about potentially getting sick or their loved ones or family members being sick. Be attentive and empathetic to those kind of things. Be kind to them. Be more forgiving than you might be otherwise. Give more notice than you might be otherwise. And make sure that you're giving enough notice so that they can learn and be as successful as they can. The fourth recommendation is be kind to yourself. I've already talked a little bit about you're not going to be completely able to develop a new skill set with very little warning, but also understand, even within that skill set, don't take on more work than you can actually do. When I'm helping people learn how to teach, one of the things that I tell them is everything you assign comes back to you. When you're creating assignments and we're coming up with ways for students to demonstrate their learning, understand that's going to come back. So if you put yourself into a very, very unrealistic grading burden, that's going to be hard for you to manage this semester. And if you're working remotely too, thinking about my own situation, I'm married to a professor who's going to be teaching her own classes and doing this too. And we both might be trying to do this while we have 2 kids, a dog, and a cat running around our household. So when you're thinking about your contingency plan, think about what you can actually do. Think about the issues that you may have in terms of your own technological capabilities, your own access to technology, your own time, your own potential management of illness in your household. Be careful of all of those things and be as kind to yourself as you can when you're setting up what your courses are going to look like remotely. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. Our purpose during teaching in an emergency or a crisis is to manage the situation, not optimize it. So please try to be as aware as you can of what you can offer during this time in your teaching. The 5th recommendation that I'm going to make is to understand that you are going to model for your students their perspective on the class that you're going to be teaching. If you see this as being suboptimal, so will they. If you see this as being inappropriate, as being kind of a watered down version, then so will they. But if you lean in and you own this and you let them know that you're going to get through this together and you're going to teach and learn the way that you wanted to, they're going to believe you. The whole core of my trickle-down engagement teaching philosophy is that our engagement trickles down to our students and affects their learning. I can think of no more important time for this to be true than in time of teaching under very different and emergent situation. If we let them know that we got this, that we are ready, that we're prepared, and we're experts, and we're authentic, and we're caring, and we're engaged, we're showing all those elements of peace. If we're showing that to our students, and we're telling them it's going to be okay, I'm going to teach, you're going to learn, and we're going to get through this together, they're going to believe you, and we're going to navigate this situation more successfully. Things are different now. Things are scary, but we got this. Good teachers continue to do their job, and we can do this under different circumstances. We can adapt, and we can create good and wonderful learning moments for our students, even under challenge. Purpose of our video today, if you haven't been paying attention, is probably a little bit more of a pep talk than specific things that you might want to do, because your classes are going to require your own creativity and your own skill sets to navigate the specific things that you do. But I highly recommend that you take this more positive and optimistic mindset, understanding you're managing, not optimizing, to teach well this semester. In the comments below, I would love to see what you're doing to help manage this situation, because I would love to hear your ideas. Please like, subscribe, sign up for notifications, and share us on social media. We'll see you next time, hopefully under less emergent situations on Engage the Sage.